WCBI News at 10 starts now.
A plant that's been a mainstay in Starkville for decades is moving much of its operation out of state. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Martin. The move by Kirby Building Systems, formerly Gulf States, is also taking a significant number of jobs away from the area. Our Quentin Smith has been following this developing story. He has the latest details.
Workers here at Kirby Building Systems recently found out the production side of the plant will be shutting down. This decision will impact roughly 100 employees here at the plant. The production side will be shutting down and transferring to Portland, Tennessee. That's more than 5 hours away from Starkville. Now, the reason for this move is still unclear at this time. I spoke with the CEO of the Greater Starkville Development Partnership, and he calls this a tremendous loss for the community.
We heard today that the production side of the plant was getting ready to shut down in the very near future. Certainly that is very sad for us in this community. Anytime that there's job loss, that affects everyone in this community. And we want those individuals to know that we're thinking about them and we'll do whatever we can to support them as they try to find other opportunities within the Golden Triangle.
Now, a spokesperson with Nucor, which is the company that Kirby Building Systems works for, says the company is working with employees who are impacted by this decision to help them find jobs within the company. Nucor is also expected to release a statement regarding this move on Thursday. Reporting in Starkville, Quentin Smith, WCBI News.
The Winston County Sheriff's Department is asking for the public's help finding a burglary suspect. The break-in happened at a home on Highway 19 South. Deputies responded to a home invasion call. A hidden surveillance camera was able to capture pictures of the suspect. If you recognize him or have any information on the crime, call the Winston County Sheriff's Department or Winston County Crime Stoppers. A two-car crash in Columbus sends one woman to the hospital. Around 7:30 tonight, Columbus police were called to an accident on Military Road at the railroad overpass near the intersection of Black Creek Road. One car appears to have struck the railroad bridge. The other ran off the road. One woman was taken to Baptist Golden Triangle with non-life-threatening injuries. Columbus police are investigating that crash. Time now to get a first look at our forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Hey there, Keith.
Hey Scott, some mist, some light rain, some drizzle out there. This is our live Doppler radar. You can see a little bit of that activity still here in northeast Mississippi and west Alabama. Extensive cloud cover, but look at this. We are mild. Right now, right around 60 across the board at 10:03 on this Wednesday evening. Now, we'll bottom out into the upper 50s tonight, back into the mid to upper 60s tomorrow. A lot of cloud cover, scattered showers. Now, look at this. A winter storm watch for the northern tier of Mississippi. This is for late Thursday night and Friday. We'll have an opportunity for a little bit of rain switching to a wintry mix, falling temperatures, and some breezy winds. More on that system, Scott, in just a few minutes.
Local leaders are hoping lawmakers will listen to their ideas about fixing roads and bridges. They know it's a hot-button issue and don't want their needs lost in the shuffle. The Mississippi Municipal League is made of mayors and other city and county officials. And they say their hands are tied in many cases on how to fix infrastructure problems. Courtney Ann Jackson explains.
These local leaders say more money from the state for infrastructure needs would be a win-win.
Transportation infrastructure is economic development, and I just plead and we beg our state leaders to make sure that they put that as a top priority, because that's economic development for cities and towns.
But the funding gaps aren't enough for the municipalities to cover on their own.
We're asking the legislators to convert taxes back to us.
That ask is coming in two different forms. They're asking for a bigger piece of the pie from sales tax collections. They'd like the diversion to be increased from 18.5% to 20.5%. They'd also like a cut of the internet sales tax collections that are quickly growing in the state. Bottom line, the money they'd like to see redirected to their areas would be used for infrastructure needs.
So every year that you put it off, you're running into a situation where they're going to be impassable and you'll have to close them.
Some cities raised property taxes in an attempt to address serious infrastructure needs last year. The legislature failed to pass a bond bill last year that would have included money for the small municipalities.
That cut out $3 to $5 million is what's normally been appropriated for that. And that would have been a huge benefit to several small towns that don't have a tax base.
You got towns that can't raise enough money when it costs $200,000 to pave a half a mile of road. They can't raise enough taxes to do that. So we've got to have a bond bill that these smaller towns could live with.
The legislature has already started passing bills addressing transportation and infrastructure needs. One of those bills that the House passed last week is a bond bill that would include money for those cities and counties. One organization is calling for a statewide policy regarding body cameras police wear. The American Civil Liberties Union of Mississippi showed a report on what they call the lack of uniformity in the way law enforcement agencies across the state use body cameras. Well, each department adopts their own body cam policy. The Starkville Police Department requires officers to download their body cam footage after every shift. They download it to a server where the video is kept for up to 45 days unless it's a more serious case or will be used in court. Chief Frank Nichols believes it'll be challenging to create a statewide policy.
You'll find out that most of the agencies that are accredited, they have a similar policy, but not all agencies are accredited. And those ones that are not accredited, they wouldn't have the same policies I would because they might not have the resources that Starkville Police Department has. So I think it's a resource thing.
It's like those external hard drives.
The ACLU of Mississippi sent a Freedom of Information Act to 147 law enforcement agencies across the state to get the information for their report on local body camera policies. The city of Amory has some new rules for pet owners. The new ordinance took effect this month, according to the Amory Humane Society, and it's similar to one adopted by the city of Tupelo. The Humane Society says that much of it's common knowledge. One new thing to note is that if a dog is deemed vicious, it will have to go through a canine assessment at the police department, and the owner has to meet certain criteria to keep the dog in city limits. Well, if you need someone to pick up a stray, you must call the Amory Humane Society. Police officers and other city officials will no longer handle strays unless it's an animal that is deemed dangerous. The Humane Society will have an officer on call 24/7. To read the new ordinance in full, just go to our website at WCBI.com. The energy picture is getting a little brighter in North Mississippi. Construction is set to begin on a solar farm in Tupelo that will be able to provide electricity to more than 120 homes. Public Service Commissioner Brendan Presley approved the Lee County Solar Farm this afternoon. The complex will have more than 3,000 solar panels. Presley says the project uses clean energy and is also much more economical than other sources of energy.
We don't know what gasoline will be tomorrow. We don't know what a lot of energy sources will be tomorrow, but we know the sunshine will be free. Mississippi has begun to be a leader in aggressively bringing about, I think, an influx in the solar market. We've been ranked one of the top 2 states in the United States to have a growing economy of solar energy in Mississippi.
Construction should take about 3 months. A teacher who spends her days building up her students' grades and self-esteem finds herself in the spotlight this week. Melanie Cade is our Educator of the Week. Cade is an interventionist at West Elementary School in Sturgis, and students come to see her when they're struggling in a subject. Cade says making them feel successful when they improve keeps them excited in the classroom.
I just want them to know that I do love each and every one of them. They all hold a special place in my heart, every child here. I want them to feel special and to know that they are loved, and regardless of a grade, they're going to be successful in life. I want them to be, strong students, independent learners, and that's just what we really work on.
To nominate a teacher, just visit WCBI.com.
A false sense of security tomorrow. Spring-like temperatures, upper 60s, but look at this trend down into the 30s by late Friday, and it will be much colder for the weekend. And in that transition, some wintry weather is possible. The full forecast.
WCBI's Educator of the Week is brought to you by Food Giant, where your neighbors are the owners. Your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Overcast conditions today. Our Alpha Insurance time lapse in downtown Columbus shows the low ceilings here. We've had some nuisance rain some mist and all that good stuff today, but warmer temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s. We're still in that ballpark right now, up to 61 in Columbus. High humidity, very warm now. This January thaw going all the way to Chicago right now, 55, but much colder in Montana, only 2 out there in Billings. Notice this big winter storm developing. The actual system we're watching is out here across the Texas Panhandle, that upper area of low pressure. A lot of winter storm alerts across the country, and one winter storm watch for the northern tier of Mississippi that does include Ripley, Corinth, and Iuka north into West Tennessee for tomorrow night and for Friday. So we're thinking the best opportunity for any wintry weather that could actually accumulate north of Highway 8, north of Sullivan, Alabama, starting in the mid-morning and then switching over into the early afternoon in the eastern part of our coverage area. There could be a little glaze of ice, some sleet, maybe a trace to perhaps an inch of snow. We'll wait and see about that. It's possible, not guaranteed here. Now, farther south, there could be a little bit of light wintry mix that does get down to Columbus, the Golden Triangle area. At this point, minor or no impacts foreseen across the southern counties. The probability of at least 1/10 of an inch of ice, notice this, much, much higher, closer to the Tennessee state line. So if there's going to be any wintry weather whatsoever that could cause some problems, probably the northern tier of our state of Mississippi that goes along with that winter storm watch. And you can see this particular forecast model pinpointing the best chance for some ice closer to the Tennessee state line. Same story with that snow potential, but more of a wintry mix, sleet, freezing rain versus snow. That's the way it's looking right now. Now tomorrow, lots of clouds. We're in the 60s, passing showers. Some heavier rain tomorrow night. 6 o'clock in the morning Friday. Still some rain, some cool rain for us. And then that colder air wrapping back around will switch some of that precipitation that's left over to some sleet, freezing rain, and snow, and then temperatures continue to cool down into the 20s as we get into Friday evening. So warm and wet ground will tend to eliminate or at least mitigate some of that accumulation potential if we do see some wintry weather, but we'll have a breezy northwest wind develop, and that will help to at least dry off some of the highways here, I think, by Friday evening. So let's hope for no black ice issues here Friday night, Saturday morning. But notice we are going from the upper 60s to the 30s this weekend, lows down into the 20s and teens, Scott.
A heads up for some Noxubee County residents. Customers of the Piney Woods Water Association are under a boil water notice. While water lines are being repaired, officials there advise the public to continue boiling their water until further notice. Meanwhile, good news for residents in Eupora. The boil water notice there that was issued in the area north of Legion Lake Road, it has been lifted. Blood donors can be the difference between life and death. When we come back, find out about the process and how you can help.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Scott Martin.
Giving blood gives another person another chance at life. Here's more in our Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I'm Sandy Kilburn, medical technologist and blood bank supervisor at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. I want to talk to you some more about blood donation. Here at Baptist Golden Triangle, we transfuse an average of 215 units of red blood cells every month to an average of 92 patients. Recipients include cancer patients, sickle cell anemia patients, patients with other types of anemia, surgery and trauma patients, and premature or sick newborns. As you can see, the need is great, and a reduction in donor turnout can put the blood supply of our nation, our state, and our hospital at a critically low level. Donating blood is a safe process. A sterile needle is used only once and then discarded. Blood donation is a simple 4-step process: registration, medical history and mini physical, donation, and refreshments. Every donor is given a mini physical, checking the donor's temperature, blood pressure, pulse, and hemoglobin to ensure it is safe for the donor to give blood. The actual blood donation typically takes less than 10 to 12 minutes. The average adult has about 10 pints of blood in his body, and roughly 1 pint is given during a donation. A healthy donor may donate red blood cells every 56 days or double red cells every 112 days. All donated blood is tested for HIV, hepatitis B and C, syphilis, and other infectious diseases before it can be released to hospitals. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist when we'll talk more about donating blood.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
Baptist Golden Triangle is hosting a blood drive next Wednesday, January 17th at the Outpatient Pavilion Conference Center on the Columbus campus from 11:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. For an appointment, go to bloodhero.com. The Bulldogs look to avoid the chomp on the road. Highlights from Gainesville next in sports.
CDI Sports with Tom Ebel.
Mississippi State men's hoops looks to move past the tough loss in Oxford this past weekend. The Bulldogs have looked to get back on track on the road heading to the Sunshine State. To the O-Dome we go. Bulldogs taking on the Gators. It was Mississippi State versus Igor Kulichev, the star Kulichev, scoring the Gators' first 13 points, including this heat check as the trail man. Yikes. But look at Mississippi State right in it. It's a 1-point ball game. It'd be a 10-point game, but here come the brothers Weatherspoon. Quideri with the nice take for 2. Then in the second half, Nick Weatherspoon with a nice drive and dish inside to Abdul Adu for the two-hand flush. It's a 3-point game, and that's about as close as it would get for Mississippi State. Chris Chioza, late closeout, he'll knock down that 3, and then in transition, Chioza, speaking of heat checks, look at this one. He's going to pull up from the top of the key, plus the foul. It'd be a 4-point play. Gators go on a 24-7 run to make it a 20-point game. Bulldogs looking for a spark. Weatherspoon, Quindary with a little more playmaking, gets it inside to Adu for the two-hand dunk. But it'll be all Gators. Michael Caru slicing, dicing, reaching and teaching. Dish inside to Keith Stone for the two-hand jam. It was all Gators to close it out as Florida wins their 6th straight, downing Mississippi State 71-54. Bulldogs drop back-to-back games for the first time this season. Pick a sport, and he's probably excelled in it. It's only a matter of time before Houston's three-sport star athlete Uriah Shepherd puts the pen to the paper to play college ball. His coaches and teammates will tell you that Shepherd not only impresses on the field, but embodies the phrase student athlete. Our Jonathan Flippo has more.
Uriah Shepherd has been a force on the football field, the basketball court, and the baseball diamond for opponents. The senior says graduation will be bittersweet after being a standout Houston Hilltopper for 4 years.
The coaching staff that we had, man, it's unbelievable. From football, baseball, basketball, it's like a brotherhood, it's like a family. So, you know, it's just been one to remember. We done had our ups and had our downs, but, you know, through it all, it's been probably one of the best I'll probably never ever forget.
Playing multiple sports can be a challenge, but Uriah handles it with ease. It's that leadership his coaches and teammates see each time Uriah puts on a uniform.
He's just a born leader. The kid's got really good leadership skills. He's one of them kids that, and I've been fortunate enough to coach a couple of them like him. He's probably a little better athlete than some of the others, but he doesn't matter who it is, he treats them all the same. It's his character, man. He's the same every time you meet him, no matter what he going through. Like, he gonna always be the happy Uriah, have a smile on his face.
Uriah plans to major in exercise science or radiology. This means he will need to carry his current 3.2 GPA to his college team. And his mom has a lot to do with that decision.
Mom, that's mom's right there. That's straight mom. That's number one rule in the house. I mean, I'm not the only athlete in the house. I think it's like 3 of us. So first thing first, first rule. Well, first, keep God first. second grades, and then ball handles itself. So, yeah, I get all that to credit to my mom.
After high school, Uriah hopes his classmates will remember his determination to play.
Everything I try to do, I like to do it, to perfection. I want to go down as one of the most exciting, passionate player that you can ever find. And then that love his teammates, and it's gonna always give you 100%, man.
Uriah and his basketball team return to action on Friday at Caledonia. In Houston, Jonathan Flippo, WCBI Sports.
WCBI Student Athlete of the Week with Jonathan Flippo is brought to you by C Spire Wireless.
2 days after winning a title, Bama Stars making decisions on their future. A pair of talented juniors, projected first-round pick wide receiver Calvin Ridley is heading to the NFL, as well as running back Bo Scarborough. Both of those guys combined for 13 touchdowns for the national champion Alabama Crimson Tide. And good news for Alabama. Junior running back Damian Harris is returning for his senior season for the Tide. Harris had his second straight 1,000-yard season this past year for Alabama. And on the defensive side of the ball, junior defensive lineman Daron Payne is skipping his senior season. He will go to the NFL this year as well. Coming up tomorrow, Egg Bowl Hoops Women's Edition, Mississippi State taking on Ole Miss. We'll have our full coverage starting tomorrow at 6:30 from the Hump, and also game kick tips off at 8 o'clock. Much more on double bacon cheeseburgers coming up tomorrow on WCBI Sports. That's it for sports. We'll have the last year forecast here.
Spring-like on Thursday, pushing 70, a few passing showers out there, but you will just know how warm it's going to be. A cooler Friday, let's just say colder, some rain, switching over to a little bit of wintry precipitation that is possible. Alex will have the latest on WCBI News Sunrise starting at 4:30. We will update that, massage it as we get new data. It will be colder for this weekend, though, but we will see more sun.
It's crazy at how fast it's kind of going to
drop. Savor the
that.
warmth now because we're back to winter starting Friday.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Keith. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.